Today we're gathering around the campfire with Marie, a QHS member whose life is as exciting and grounding as a hike through the mountains. But what trails did she tread to reach these heights? Let's trek into the wilderness and discover the adventures that led Marie to where she is today.
Hello, I'm Marie. To start with, I'm just going to tell you right now, I am a happy person. Looking back, I can say that I am happy with all the crooks and the turns my life has been taking these last 73 years. It is what has made me the person I am. I'm a very kind person and a giving person, and I'm excited that I am that way. You know, I chose to enter into this life's journey into a poor family. I was the last child in this family in a rural East Texas town. Both of my parents came from families of many children, and they really struggled to survive. But this was the era during that time. You know, there wasn't nothing industrial around there that they could make money. So what they did to survive, they had to do by the sweat of the brow. So I learned the hard way, and my siblings learned the hard way to work. You know, they had one-room schoolhouses that had all the little grades in there. When harvest time came, the school shut down. But you know, I kind of look back on it now, thinking about it, I think that was probably our summer vacation later on, because that's when the harvest came in. I was the youngest of 6 surviving children. My dad was a farm worker. My mother helped at times. But as the children came along, she was needed at the house more. As the children, they got older, they had to hit the fields too, and they had to work. But me being the baby, my siblings made sure that I knew that I was very lucky that I got to keep my little monies. Because by the time I came along and I got to the age that I could work in the fields, Daddy had got his own business. So I was able to keep my little bitty monies, but for them little bitty monies, I had to buy my school supplies. I had to buy a pair of shoes for school and a couple of dresses because we weren't allowed to wear pants. And a couple of little necessities because, you know, them little necessities my mother used to make with flour sacks, so it's really nice to have them. But around 9, my father had begun to be a blacksmith, got his own shop, and a mechanic. So my life changed, our whole life changed during that time. He was a local jack of all trades. We were woke up many, many nights by the local town people, country people needing help. He was called out to pull teeth, to pull calves. Whatever was needed, they knew they could come to our house. So I learned early. I was a daddy's girl. I was always with him if there's any way possible. And even when summertime, if I wasn't working or during the weekend, I wasn't going to school, I was usually at the shop with him. I love being with my dad. He'd slip off every now and then, go fishing. Of course, I'm going too. So. My daddy saw visions. Unbeknownst to me, he saw many, many things. It's kind of hard to talk about this, but I will. I always went fishing with Daddy. But there was one day, he literally said, no, you can't go today. We were coming in from packing and picking tomatoes. He was packing tomatoes because he had already lost a leg because of diabetes. And we were coming in for lunch, and he said, baby, I'm not going to go back after lunch. Eddie's going to come pick you up, and I'm going to go fishing. This girl wasn't happy. I wanted to go fishing with Daddy. He said, baby, you can't go today. So anyhow, Mr. Eddie come pick me up. After my day's evening of work, I came back in, and Mother was besought. She just beside herself. Daddy hadn't come in yet. He'd been gone many hours. I knew our fishing hole, so here I went down there. And he had died at his fishing home, like he told me he would. He said, many times, baby, when I get ready to go home, and I get ready to go, I'm going to die fishing. But I never really listened to it. But unbeknownst to me, he had learned and saw a vision 3 days earlier that he would die that day. It was hard. It was a very hard time. He died from complications of a heart disease and diabetes. So as my life progressed, I graduated high school, got married, had 2 wonderful children, divorced, became a certified jeweler, worked as a slot host on a riverboat, became a certified medical coder, became a grandmother of 2 amazing grandchildren, married again, and then I widowed. I retired at 66 from medical coding in the Ozark Mountains. I think my adventurous heart will always be there. I so love that area. I lived in Texas, Louisiana, Colorado, and Arkansas. Now I'm back in Texas. My husband had passed away while I lived in the Ozarks, that big C word. I found myself alone, no family close. Closest ones were 8 hours away. So I finally chose to give myself time and give myself space to learn Marie, to learn what Marie was all about. Not as a daughter, not as a sibling, not as a wife, not as a mother, a grandmother, a friend, a caregiver, a worker, but just me. Just me. I found that I was pretty darn strong. I tackled most all the problems that taking care of a home and acreage took, from plumbing to water wells. Whatever problem came up, I tried to tackle it. And I found out YouTube was pretty important. All my normal activities, of course, didn't stop. I had them also, keeping up 3 acres of mowing, keeping up my flowers, my garden area, and also keeping up my flea market booths. I was going to auction and yard sales. But during this time, I started investing in my spiritual life, my spiritual work. I love being alone. I love sitting outside at night in the Ozarks, where I lived at, and just being at peace with it all. Just understanding that it's okay to be quiet. It's okay to get within yourself. I found like friends that helped me grow. They were a true blessing and still are. Girlfriend, guys, kayaking down the river, pulling up on the riverbanks, sleeping under the stars. Yeah, it was good. Hiking the many trails of the Ozarks. Having weekend getaways with girls. And every now and then a few guys went along. Digging for crystals in crystal mines there in Arkansas. Going to the meat shops in Eureka Springs. Oh, what good things you could find. Hopping on a motorcycle when one is available, because I was loved to be a ride tag along. It was like, hey, I'll go. So I enjoyed when the motorcycles come around. Gathering with friends around an Indian drumming circle, sending out love frequencies to all, to the universe, to everything in need. Listening to the beautiful sound baths of flutes and singing bowls. Meditation became part of my life. Very good. During this time, I finally realized that I was no longer my past. I was not what I was born into. I had grown to know that I was a rich person, rich in love for myself and love for all. I am my future. I am truly a divine frequency, and I can choose my reality, the reality of true abundance. Peace, wisdom, discernment, financial, and good health to all of us, not just me. This would be our future of all mankind. And we at QHS, we are the forerunners. This was a big moment for me when I finally knew I loved being me. I knew I loved being myself. So I am so looking forward to acquiring my youthful self again, mind, body, and spirit, and my third eye. I know that I was part of the plan. I always was. We all are. I chose this time here on earth to help usher it in. It didn't just happen. I chose it. We chose it. Now this body acquired blood clots, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, a lot of brain fog, arthritis, and a few little nerve problems. I'm seeing all of this disappear. My blood pressure leveled out really quick after I got my black device. I had some nerve sciatica damage problems about the time my V6 come in, and I ended up putting both of them on the problem. And within 3 days, I was able to walk again. And throughout this last year and a half, as I come up with little problems, ankle problems, foot problems, knee problems, I just make sure I put a device on top of that problem and wear it a few days, and it has been disappearing. I'm looking forward to having a home health system in my space, and then to take a trip to Salt Lake City in the near future. I can now say I have traveled out of country. I got my first passport this year. Egypt was wonderful. And just to kind of finish it off and just throw in a little extra. Yes, after 5 years of learning Marie, I decided that I needed a partner to finish my vintage years with. I wanted to share my vintage years with someone. So as Dr. Joe Dispenza says, you are where you put your energy. So I started putting my energy in this thought. At night, right before I would shut my eyes for the final snooze to go to sleep. And when I'd wake up in the morning, I would think about this. Think about looking into a set of eyes that when I saw them dancing eyes, I knew without a shadow of a doubt that he knew I loved him and he loved me, and we would spend the rest of our life together. Just like I prayed, but 1,000% more. We're fixing to celebrate our 4th year anniversary, and we have many, many, many more to go. We knew of each other, but never knew each other. We were in the same grade in high school. We met after 52 years. We talked, and we met about 3 weeks later after we finally was talking over the phone. And within 4 weeks later, I had shut my home down, moved back to Texas, and we got married. I thought this was only in the movies, but it's real. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being part of this QHS journey with me. Thanks to Cynthia, Dr. A, Wade, Tracy, and all the beautiful admin, volunteers, members, and remember, members. We're all important, every one of us, because we are bringing in the future. I am Marie. I'm sending healing, loving light frequencies to each and every one of you, my fellow travelers.
Join us on the Prequel, where every story matters and every voice is heard. Because here at QHS, we're all about healing, learning, and growing together.